Hello everyone, this is the ninth video of the database management systems practical video series, and today I'm going to do the ninth video of the third day of database management systems. And let's go to the question now. Here's the question, day 3, question 9. Okay, here's the question. I'm going to read it first and then answer for this question. To facilitate the business of Max Mobile, the owner of the mobile phone company uses a computer software which uses the following table to store the data in that computer software. Answer the questions asked in this table. Okay. Here are the steps we have to follow in order to answer to that question. Let's see the first one. Create a database named mshop to save the data in the mobile phone shop. Okay. First we have to create a database and name it mshop. But you can remember in our last video that's also we also created a database with a similar name mshop. So we have to let's go to the MySQL software. Here I'm going to use the HeidiSQL browser in order to access my MySQL server, and here you can see here's the database we created in the previous video. In order to do this today video, we have to drop this database because it has the same name of the database we are going to create now. So when you are deleting a database, you have to click on the database name and then right click, and here you can see here's the drop option. You can select the drop option in HeidiSQL and MySQL Workbench. When you are deleting a table or something like that, database, maybe it's going to call drop. Okay, here I'm going to OK. You can see the warning that this database is going to drop. Okay, now the mshop, the database called mshop is gone now. We can create a new one with the same name. So in order to create a new database, we have to right click on the connection. Here's the connection to our MySQL server. Here I right click on the table and then create new database. Okay, here we have to rename the database to mshop. Okay, after you press the OK button, new database will create, and let's find our database mshop. You can see here's the database. This is not the database we created. This is the database we created now, and you can see there's no table inside of this database. Okay, we complete our first part of the question, and let's go to the second one. Create a table as customer and product in the database. Follow the instructions below. Okay, we have to create two tables like we done in the last video. The data are going to be same too, but that's all right. I'm going to create two new tables. Here's the table called customer and here's the table called product, and we have to create attributes inside our table. You can see the first one in the customer table, customer ID, and first name, last name, gender, contact number. Okay, we have to change the character length which is going to store which is going to define how much characters the attribute is going to store inside a single cell. So let's go to the HeidiSQL browser now, and let's create the table called customer first. Okay, here I'm going to right click on the database we created. That's the way we are always going to follow in order to create a table in our database, we are not going to right click on the connection to our MySQL server. Always right click on the database. We are going to create the table. Okay, here's the database, and I right click on the database name and create new table. Okay, here we created we managed to open the window to create a new table, and here's the place we are going to rename our table. I'm going to rename it to customer. Okay, here's the area we are using to define attributes in our table. Here's the add button. I'm going to define the first attribute. It's also going to be the primary key. You can see it's the primary key, and it's called customer ID. Customer ID, and data type is varchar, and it has a character length of 10. So I'm going to create that table first. Customer ID. I'm changing the data type to varchar, and change the length to character length to 10. And it's also going to be the primary key, so I'm defining the primary key by right click on the attribute we created, and then create new index and primary key. You can see some of these data are changed in the attribute. You can see the golden key mark. It's showing that this is the attribute key. This is the primary key. So okay, I'm going to change the default value to no default value. Let's see, we have to auto increment. No, we don't need to auto increment the default value, so I'm going to leave it no default value. Let's create the other attributes in our table. Here's the first name, and then last name, gender, contact number. Okay, press on the add button. First name, the character length of 45. Last name, also going to be a character length of 45, and gender with a character length of 10, and contact number. Okay, here we created our attributes inside our table, so I'm going to finalize the table by click on the save button. It will going to create our table with the attributes we define. Okay, you can see the table we are created inside the data tab. Okay, let's create the second table. We create the customer table, and here's the product table. Here are the attributes inside that table: product ID and brand name, model number, and price. Okay, price has a data type which is called double. That means it's going to store floating points as the value in the record. Okay, let's create this table called product. Again I'm going to right click on the table, right click on the database name, and then create table. Okay, I'm changing the name to product, and then defining the attributes now. Here's the first attribute, product ID, and I'm changing the data type to varchar, and here's the character length. It's going to be 10, and is the primary key. The product ID is the primary key in this table, so I'm going to define that one. Let's right click on the product ID, and then create new create new index primary key. Okay, and then change the default value to no default value. Okay, let's create other attributes in this table: brand name, model number, and price. Brand name, model number, and then price. Price is going to be double. Let me select the value double. Here's type double. Okay, we complete our second table, and let's create this table by click on the save button. Okay, we create the second table too. You can see here are the attributes inside our table, and here's the attributes inside the table called customer. Here we complete our second part of the question. Let's go to the third one: add data graphically to the table you have created. Okay, we done this part in the previous video. You know how we are going to enter the values graphically to these tables. We can enter values like this. This method is going to is also called entering data graphically. And also we can use insert queries in order to insert these data into our tables, but in the question it specifically instructed us to use graphical method to insert data into the table. So I'm going to use that method, and then this video clip will be fast forwarded while I'm inserting the data into the tables, and then let's see what we have to do in the next part of the question. Okay, here I entered all the data into our tables. Here the data, and we completed the third part of the question, and let's go to the fourth one. Find a mobile phone whose brand is Huawei, price less than 40,000. In this question there are two conditions. The brand should be Huawei and the price should less than 40,000 rupees. Okay, so in this case we have to write a select query to collect this data, or we have to sort this data. When you are creating select queries, you have to put the keyword select. Okay, I'm going to I'm going to get the data of product table, and here we have to mention what columns we are going to collect in this or sort in this result. So I'm going to sort all the attributes in our table. I need all the attributes in the result, so I'm using asterisk mark. Yes, the asterisk mark. When we are mentioning this mark, it's going to sort all the attributes, and all the attributes will be in the result. Then we have to mention the keyword from. Now we are going to mention the database name and the table we are going to sort. Here's the database name, it's mshop. We need data inside the table called mshop, and here's the table product. We have to separate these two names, database name and the table name, by using a full stop, and then we have to insert our condition. So select asterisk from mshop dot product where here's the keyword where we use this keyword when we are mentioning or when we are defining a condition. Here's the first condition where we have to mention the table name, attribute name, and the value. Here's the attribute name. It's going to be the brand name, and the value is Huawei. Let me copy the name Huawei, and then here's the first one, brand name equal, here's the value Huawei, and let's execute this query and see what's inside, what will be the result. Here you can see all the product belongs to the brand name Huawei are shown here, but actually we need we are also looking for the price less than 40,000 rupees. You can see here are two results, and one product is less than 40,000 rupees, and other product is above 40,000 limit. So I'm going to define the next condition, but when we are defining two or more conditions, we have to use and or condition. I'm going to use and, so that means both of these conditions. I'm defining the the second condition later when we are mentioning two or more conditions, and we use and condition. It's going to these both of these conditions should are considering, and both of these conditions return the value true. So let's define the second condition. Here's the table name. I need data in this table. It's called price, and here's the value I'm looking for, less than. We cannot use equal, we have to use less than. Here's the mark less than, and then 40,000 rupees. Okay, here's the value 40,000 rupees, and then we can execute this query. It will show the results which is Huawei in the brand name, and the price is less than 40,000 rupees. Okay, let's execute this query, and you can see here's the result. It's the product ID is product ID 001, and brand name is Huawei, and model number is Y5, and here's the price 25,000. It's below the 40,000 rupee limit. Okay, here we completed our fourth part of the question, and let's go to the fifth one. Look for customers whose gender is female. Okay, we have to write a select query to the customer table. Now I'm going to clear this query and let's write the select query to the customer table. We have to use the keyword select, and I need all the data of the customers of the result. So I'm using this mark, the asterisk mark, and then select asterisk from. Here I'm mentioning the database name mshop, and then here's the table name we are accessing, customer, and here's the condition where you can see in the question we have to find the customers whose gender is female. Okay, here's the attribute name gender, and here's the value inside that attribute we are looking for is female, and here's the semicolon mark. It means that this query is ended. Okay, let's execute this query. You can see here's the data whose gender is female. You can see there are two records called Kalpani and Kalpana, and here's the result. Okay, we complete the fifth one, and here's the last one, also the sixth question of the question number 9. Find the details of the product whose brand is in Vivo. Okay, we have to find the details inside the product table again, and here we have to search for the brand called Vivo. Okay, let's clear this query and then write a new query. I'm going to use the select query again. Select. We need every detail, so I'm using asterisk mark. Here's the asterisk mark. Select asterisk from. Here's the database name mshop, and here's the table. We need data inside the table called product, and here's the condition where, and here's the attribute name which is holding the data we are finding, we are sorting. The attribute name is brand name. Okay, equal, here's the value inside that attribute Vivo. We need details which is brand name equal to Vivo. Okay, here I entered the query, and then let's execute this query. You can see here are the records which is also the brand name is equal to Vivo. You can see there are 3 records, and the model number is Y20S, Y50 and V11 Pro. Okay, now we completed our 9th question and the steps inside that question, and I'm going to stop this video right now, and let's see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.